Hi everyone, and welcome to today's class. Today we'll be doing a Vinyasa style yoga session and we'll focus on glute strength. It's going to be amazing. Today's class, though, it is an intermediate level, so it's a good idea to have a fair amount of yoga under your belt before doing today's class. So gather all your props together, things that you'll need. It's nice to have a block or maybe something squishy like a blanket. And once you're ready, let's find ourselves in Balasana, child's pose. So big toes together, knees either together or slightly apart, whatever feels better for you. Taking a few moments to really get snuggled in. And once you're in, allowing everything that doesn't need to work to relax, especially through the neck and the shoulders, softening as much as you can. And then taking a moment to focus on that space where your forehead meets the floor. Just feeling the mat beneath you. And then start to feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Noticing the sounds around you. If it's quite noisy where you are, start to imagine those sounds fading away into the distance, and it just becomes white noise. And because today's Vinyasa class is working on strength, let's find someone or something in your mind's eye that represents strength to you. So maybe it's someone that you consider to be very strong, or maybe it's something that you consider to be very strong. And just hold on to that thought for a few moments. And know that you can come back to that thought at any time during your practice when you feel like you need a little bit of extra strength. From here, take 3 slow, deep breaths through the nose. Really expansive breaths too. So at the top of each inhalation, see if you can take just an extra sip of air, a little gentle stretch of the lungs. And at the bottom of each exhale, squeezing out that last puff of air to make room for fresh new air to enter. Take all the time you need. And once those 3 breaths are complete, nice and slow, and with that Zen-like quality that we've cultivated in our child's pose, come on up to hands and knees, just briefly before you head all the way up and back to a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and maybe even pedaling it out a little bit. That first downward dog of class, getting things moving, loosened up. Maybe feeling a little shoulder stretch as the heart reaches towards the feet. And then send the feet forward all the way to the top of your mat and land in a forward fold. Allow the neck to soften as the head hangs. And then slowly ragdoll all the way up, 1 vertebra at a time, all the way up to standing. And we'll prepare in Tadasana Mountain Pose up at the top of our mats. We'll head into some sun salutations, 5 and 5 of A and B to get us nice and warmed up. So standing at attention, tall through the spine. Here we go. Inhale, raise the arms way up high. Take a moment here. On an exhale, gliding forward, hinging at the hips, nice and smooth all the way down to forward fold. Looking up to the horizon for flat back, long spine. And exhale, down, bend the knees, plant the hands, send the feet back. Strong plank, scoop the belly in. And lowering chaturanga, elbows tucked in tight. On an inhale, cobra or up dog, wide open across the shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Heels reaching towards the floor for 1. Slow, deep breathing for 2. 3. 4. And 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, and exhale, returning to a tall mountain. Number 2, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. For 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. Number 3, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga, elbows tucked in tight. Inhale, wide open shoulders, and exhale, downward facing dog. For 1. Feet are parallel. 2. Shoulders away from the ears. 3. Getting some of that weight into the roots of the fingers. 4. Not dumping into the heels of the hands. And 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, a little bit taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. Number 4, inhale, arms go up. Exhale down. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale down, heading back through plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale, shoulders back and down. And exhale, downward facing dog. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward, inhaling for flat back, and exhale down. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, and exhale, returning to a tall mountain. Last one of A. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale, looking up to the horizon. Exhale down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up, reaching, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. Heading into B, bend the knees, sweep the arms, Utkatasana, powerful pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, wide shoulders, and exhale, downward facing dog. Virabhadrasana 1, right side, right foot steps forward, back heel spins down to the ground, and sweep the arms up, just going a little bit slower the first one. Heading down through lunge, stepping it back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, step that left foot forward, spin the back heel all the way down to the ground and sweep the arms up, pausing up at the top for just a moment to settle in. And then heading down through lunge, stepping it back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. For 1, just know that you can take a child's pose here if you like. 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms. And exhale, standing tall. Number 2. Inhale, bending deeply. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back through plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, right foot forward, back heel down, come on up. Exhale down, back through plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale down, left side, left foot forward, back heel down, arms sweep up. Exhale down, plank, lower. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. For 1, 2, 3. If you're wanting a wee break, just hang out here for the next salutation. And 5. Send the feet forward, all the way to the top, looking up to the horizon for flat back. Exhale down. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms. And standing tall. Number 3. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, plank and lower. Inhale up. And exhale, downward dog. Right side, right foot forward, back heel down, sweeping up. Down through lunge, plank and lower. Inhale, wide open shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, left foot forward, back heel down, arms sweep up. Exhale down, plank, lower. Inhale up, wide shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and downward facing dog. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Heels and toes together, bend the knees deeply, sweep those arms up. And exhale, standing tall. Number 4, bending deeply, sweep the arms with the same integrity as the very first one. Exhale, gliding forward, straightening through the legs. Inhale, for flat back, look up to the horizon. Exhale, down, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, right foot forward, back heel down, arm sweep up. Down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale, up, wide shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, left foot forward, back heel down, arm sweep up in one motion. Nice and smooth down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale up, and exhale down. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. And exhale down. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms, Utkatasana. And standing tall to Tadasana mountain pose, last one. Bend the knees, sweep the arms, find that strength. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, plank, and lower. Inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, right foot steps forward, back heel spins down, come on up. Heading down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, left foot steps forward, back heel spins down, come on up. Heading down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms, Utkatasana. And exhale, standing tall. Here we go into the heart of our practice. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back through plank. And lower chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll find a 3-legged down dog. So right leg sweeps to the sky. Take a peek at your left foot. Make sure that the knee is actually pointing in the same direction as the foot. Sometimes it likes to tip inward, don't let it. Then allow the heel to lengthen down to the ground. So feel that stretch in the left leg. At the same time, right leg reaching high to the sky, even pointing the toes. Then step it forward. Back heel stays up and come on up to crescent pose. Ashtachandrasana. Spend a few moments here feeling the flexibility. So a nice stretch in that back hip flexor. Breathing deep. Almost done. See if you can sink a little bit more. Feel that stretch. If you're not feeling a stretch, straighten that back leg a little bit more. Scoop the belly in a little. From here, one more inhale to lengthen. Exhale down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. Other side, three-legged down dog. Left leg sweeps to the sky, same thing. Take a peek at your right foot and the knee, both tracking directly forward. Allow the heel to lower down towards the floor, feeling that stretch. Other leg, strength and extension, reaching high to the sky, pointed toes. And then we'll step it forward, back heel stays up for Ashta Chandrasana, sweep the arms up. Crescent pose, sinking into the hips, feeling that back hip flexor stretch. Take a moment. If you're not feeling the stretch, straighten through that back leg, scoop the belly in. One more inhale to lengthen. Exhale down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Squeeze the shoulder blades together in every chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders for cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take a three-legged down dog again. Right leg sweeps, same actions apply. Once again, stepping the right foot forward, back heel stays up, sweeping the arms up, Ashta Chandrasana again, crescent pose. Finding that alignment, finding that little bit of a stretch. So same things as last crescent pose, but this time focusing on the glutes. So feel the right glute. If you don't, press into the heel of the right foot, even lifting up the toes of the right foot. Press down into that heel. You should feel that right glute activate. If not, keep trying. Feel free to release the toes, but we just wanted to get that glute activated. From here, straighten the front leg, keep that back heel up, but think of pushing down into the floor, especially with the heel. Use the glute to straighten that front leg. And nice and slow, bending once again back to crescent pose. Use the glute, use the glute, use the glute. One more inhale to lengthen here. Exhale down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, wide open shoulders, and exhale, downward facing dog. Ready and super excited for the left. Left leg extends in three-legged. And step it forward. Back heel stays up, sweep the arms up. Crescent pose. Take those moments again to find that same alignment as the first crescent pose, with the addition now of finding that left glute. So maybe press that heel down into the floor, lift the toes up, just get that glute activated. We're trying to find tips and tricks to activate the glutes. Then straighten through that left leg, thinking glute, 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 glute. Push down into the floor. And again, bending the knee as you think glute, 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 glute. We're back to crescent. One more inhale to lengthen here. On the exhale, heading down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. Again, three-legged down dog. Right leg sweeps to the sky, lengthening. And again, step it forward, crescent pose. Back heel stays up, sweep the arms up. This time, we'll straighten and bend, but we'll just keep going in crescent lunges. So here we go. Straighten the front leg, thinking glute, glute, glute. And then bend the front leg, thinking glute, glute, glute. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Straighten the leg again. And bend the leg again. Keep going at your own pace. If you need a little extra help with balance, reach the arms out to the sides in airplane mode. As you continue to straighten the leg and bend the leg. all at your own pace. It's nice to go nice and slow so you can really focus on the glutes being used the whole time. Keep going. Once your glutes kind of know what they're doing, double check everything else. So the back heel does remain up, nice and high to the sky. And you're actually using that back ankle. It's getting so strong right now. Keep going. Then taking a moment to think about the shoulder blades. Squeeze them together so you're wide open across the shoulders, no matter where your arms are. Keep going. Breathing deep. On every inhale we straighten. On every exhale we bend. So it's the breathing that guides the pace. Almost done. Remembering your strength. Way back from child's pose. The person or the thing that represents strength to you. And finishing up here, and then heading down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. Wouldn't a break be nice? Let's not though, instead. Let's keep going. Left leg sweeps for three-legged, get her done. And stepping it forward. Come on up for crescent on the left. Taking just a moment. And here we go. So find your arm position that you did on the first side. Straightening, the timer has begun. And bending. At the pace of your breathing. So first, focus on the glutes. If you need to, you can pause in crescent and then press into that left heel, maybe even lift the toes, get the glute activated. Keep going, keep going. Every time we straighten that front leg, think about pushing down. Instead of thinking of the leg straightening and we go up, think of the floor going down. You're pushing the floor down, especially through the heel. I find that really helps activate the glute and the hamstrings as well. This exercise is so good for yogis. We do a lot of forward folds where we do a lot of flexibility with the hamstrings. And it's really important to counter that with strength so that we're muscularly balanced. Keep going, keep going. Checking in with the back leg. It's a little bit active too. That heel's high to the sky. Maybe a small fire in that back ankle, as well as the front leg and glute. Double checking the shoulders. Whether your hands are at heart center or out to the sides in airplane mode, the shoulder blades are squeezing together. Shoulders down. Almost done. And heading down through lunge, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, up, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. We'll take a few moments here because that one's a doozy and so important. I find that not only do we sometimes feel physically fatigued after an exercise, but when we mentally really focus on the muscles that are being worked, it's emotionally, mentally exhausting as well. So take a moment in your child's pose, not to think, oh, I'm tired, but to think, I'm rejuvenating, replenishing my energy, and building that strength again, preparing for what's next. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. And from here, gliding forward through plank and lowering chaturanga and then all the way down to the belly. We'll head into some Ys. There might be a more technical name for this, but it's a conditioning exercise. So we're on our bellies, toes pointed behind us, arms are in a Y shape, like you're about to sing YMCA, but you're on the floor. Shoulders are down away from the ears, so pinkies are on the floor. Thumbs are pointing up to the sky. From here, nose to the floor, or maybe forehead to the floor. Belly scoops in as though you're trying to raise the belly up off the floor, and then lift the arms up, only like a 1/2 millimeter, not very far, and then place them back down again, up and down. Maybe the arms come all the way back down to the floor, maybe they don't. It's not about how high the arms go. Keep going, keep going. Little tiny movements. You'll notice that we feel this in the backs of the shoulders, but also the mid-back. So we're trying to use the back side of the body. Basically all the opposite muscles to plank. Really creating muscular balance in this Vinyasa class. Keep going. This one, if you're wondering why is this one so difficult, it's because because reasons. So at any point, relax the arms and then pop back into it as soon as you can. So this is not about grinning and bearing it through the whole thing. Take little breaks when you need to. Same with the last one, but I forgot to mention that. So do take breaks when you need them and then rejoin when you can. One thing we do want to be sure of is the shoulders down away from the ears. We want to engage the right muscles. And often the trapezius muscles, which are the ones that are usually up by our ears in this pose, they like to take over, don't let them. So push those muscles down. If you think shoulders down away from the ears, lots of space between the ears and the shoulders. That'll get everything in the right position. Double check, we've got the belly scooped in. Almost done. And relax. Either pause here in pancake pose for a few moments or head up and back to a downward facing dog or a child's pose. Take a few moments. That one is deceptively challenging. It looks so easy when you're watching it. And if you'd like a little bit more of a rest, pause here. Otherwise, we'll just sneak in a quick vinyasa. So back to downward facing dog, if not already. Then send the feet forward, all the way into flat back, lengthening through the spine on an inhale. On the exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale to a tall mountain. And again, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back through plank. And lower. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, let's lower all the way through hands and knees and all the way to seated. We'll find ourselves in a pinwheel kind of a shape, so keep the right leg forward and swing the left leg behind you. This one I just call attitude pulses, because in ballet we have this pose called attitude with the back leg behind you bent. So from here, lean over onto the right hand, or maybe to make it a little easier, onto the right elbow. You may want something squishy beneath the elbow if you do that. Then double check that your left knee is straight out to the side from your left hip. So it's not forward of the hip or behind the hip, it's straight out to the side. And then go ahead and lift the whole bent leg up off the floor. I'm starting the timer now. From here, feel like there's an imaginary button behind you and your left big toe is going to push that button. And again, and again, and keep going. So little 1/2 inch motion. That leg just sort of goes forward and back, but the emphasis is on that pushing it back. So you're kind of squeezing your glute. You shouldn't really have to do too much focusing about glutes on this one. It's going to happen. So once again, you can either be up on your hand or down on your elbow, or for extra challenge, no hands. Keep going. This is also a conditioning exercise, not actually yoga, but it's really good to help just overall strength of the hips. Side note, if you're a ballet dancer, this is really helpful as well. Keep going. Eventually, that back leg feels light, and that is a fine day indeed. If it already feels light, great, lift the leg higher. Always looking for things to feel a little bit challenging. That's what yoga helps us with. When we feel discomfort, we often like to shy away from it. That's just human nature. Yoga helps us to realize it's not going to hurt us. Lean into it. It's really, really good for you. It's like vitamins. Almost done. And release. If you kind of go, ugh, then you know you did a good job. From here, either just switch sides for a little bit more of a gentle in-between part for you. If you're looking for extra challenge, step it back to a plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Preparing for the other side. Lowering through hands and knees. And all the way to seated. This time, left leg stays forward, right leg behind you. And we'll begin. Timer started. The right leg is up. Your right toe is pushing that imaginary button behind you. Little half-inch movements. Knowing that you can be either up on your left hand or down on your elbow. You may need to find that squishy thing beneath the elbow. Or, extra challenge, no hands. Try to see if you can do something similar on the second side. Sometimes, if we are muscularly imbalanced, one leg will feel heavier. And that's normal, totally normal. If you feel like they're both equal, that's fantastic. That's what we're aiming for. Keep going. If you do have one side that's a little bit more challenging, all we do is spend a little bit more focus and attention on it. Where we direct our thoughts, that improves the most. So really thinking of, we always think about alignment with everything we do, but especially if something is a little bit more challenging on one side than the other, then just take that little bit of extra care and attention on the side that needs it the most. Most important, no judgment. Whether that leg feels light as a feather or heavy as a boulder does not matter. You're putting in the work and you're doing a good job. Keep going, we're almost done. And release. So either just pause or find a child's pose, or for extra challenge, heading back through plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll once again lower all the way through hands and knees into seated and head into a similar exercise, but geared for the inner thighs. So for this one, let's see, we just worked our right leg. So let's work our left leg first. Leaning over onto your left side. Left leg extends straight. Right leg crosses over top, it's bent. The sole of the right foot is on the floor. So you're either all the way down onto your arm, your left arm, like it's a pillow, or you're propped up on your forearm. That's a little bit more challenging. Wherever you're at, I'll get our timer started. Lift up that left leg and lift it again and again and again. You may need something squishy beneath your left hip. Keep going. This one I always find takes me a little bit just to sort of trial and error, figure out, okay, where do I feel my inner thigh and not my left hip bone? So do take the time you need to get as comfortable as possible. And then, once everything that isn't working is comfortable, focus on the muscle group being used. So inner leg, hoping for a small fire. Of course, you can break anytime you need and jump back in whenever you can. Keeping in mind, whenever you need, think back to your person or your thing that represents strength to you. And that often lights a little bit of a fire within us to bring us more strength. It's okay to draw on strength from others. Keep going. I love this conditioning exercise. It really helps lots of our yoga poses, especially Warrior 3. I find Warrior 3 really challenging. And often my top leg of Warrior 3 kind of wanders all over the place. This specific exercise, well, the last two work on balancing the strength on the inside and the outside of the leg. Almost done. And release. Either just pause here, flipping over to the other side, or take a quick little vinyasa between, stepping it back to plank and lowering chaturanga. Inhale, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog. And lowering through hands and knees, preparing for the other side. So working on the right leg. Leaning over onto the right, right leg extends, left leg crosses over top, like a kickstand. Here we go, timer starts. Right leg goes up and up and up and up. You may need something squishy beneath that right hip. Keep going here. Once again, drawing upon that strength from our child's pose. Just about at the halfway point here. Keep going. Find that strength. Dig deep. Keep going, keep going. Either pause here or step it back to plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll all meet in seated once again, so through hands and knees, all the way to seated. Let's lay all the way back and prepare for just some regular crunches. Keeping in mind, actual crunches are not actually the best for most individuals. So only if you know that your abdominals are very strong, do the full regular crunches. Everybody else, either have your hips up on a block or laying on your back, head remains on the floor, and simply think of using your Kegel muscles. So it's like your pelvic floor squeezes, scoop the belly in and hold. Everyone else, if you're doing your crunches, we'll bend the knees, hugging them in, fingertips behind the head. Here we go. Wherever you're at, belly scoops in. If you're doing crunches, especially scoop the belly in. So one of the reasons why crunches are not super for most people is that it's really challenging to actually keep the abdominal muscles together and down. If you thought, hey, I'll give crunches a try, and you're feeling like, no, I'm not really feeling very stable, come on out and do the other variation. We're not here too long, just enough to get the belly fired up using those abdominals. So again, scoop the belly in. If you're doing regular crunches, also use that Kegel muscle, that PC muscle. So pelvic floor pulls up, belly scoops in, doubling down on our core strength. If you're doing the variation where you're holding, remember to breathe. You're breathing against the strength of your abdominal wall, increasing the activity. And release. Take a moment. If you're on a block, remove the block. Let your belly soften completely. And from here, either rest for a moment or a couple little rocks and rolls, almost all the way up and back, almost all the way up and back. And then all the way up, heading back through, you guessed it, plank, and lowering chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or up dog. Take a moment to feel that stretch after we worked our abdominals. And exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll all meet together laying down. So from down dog through hands and knees through seated, laying back, preparing for Urdhva Dhanurasana, which is upward facing bow, sometimes known as full wheel, or bridge pose if you prefer. For either variation, step the feet apart slightly wider than hips width, feet are parallel. For bridge, arms along your sides, palms facing down. Or for upward facing bow, hands beneath the shoulders, not the neck. So keep those hands apart. Then, in either variation, hips go up. If you're going for a full wheel, top of the head to the floor first, and then pressing all the way up. Breathing deep, holding for about 5 deep breaths. If you're in bridge and you want to go further, of course you can interlace the fingers and straighten through the arms, tucking those shoulders beneath you. For either variation, lift the hips a little bit higher. And with the same control, strength, and attention as we did to get in the pose and hold the pose, slowly and controlled, come on out. Take a moment, once your hips are all the way down to the floor, and just rest here for a moment. When you feel ready, hug the knees in and gently rock from side to side, Apanasana. And for a little more gentle approach, roll over to your right side, press yourself all the way up, or rock and roll, almost all the way up and back, few rounds. And either pause at seated or step it back through plank and lower chaturanga. Inhale up and exhale. We'll all meet in downward facing dog, preparing for gecko. Just our little quad stretch. So we'll start with a three-legged down dog, right leg sweeps, reaching, stretching. And then right foot steps forward, back knee gently lowers to your mat or garden mat or whatever squishy thing you've got. Then leaning into that left hand, pop the back toes off the floor. Find those back toes with either your opposite hand, or if that doesn't work, the same hand, or if that doesn't work, a yoga strap. Only a few moments here. This is just a nice, gentle feeling. It is an intense stretch, but we want to have a gentle quality to this stretch. Our quads are often fairly tight, so think lengthen, think soften, think gentle. And release. Heading either straight back to downward dog or back through plank. We're almost done class. Lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll all meet together in down dog. Left leg sweeps for three-legged. And stepping it forward, back knee lowers gently. Leaning into the right hand, pop those back toes, finding those toes however you need to. Breathing deep, same thing, think gentle. For most of us, we will feel one leg a little more flexible than the other. Same as every other exercise, no judgment, just a little bit of extra focus on the side that needs it the most. Softening, lengthening, and breathing. And release. Either stepping it down to downward facing dog or child's pose, or for extra challenge, back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale, downward facing dog, last downward facing dog of class today. And then we'll lay all the way back, preparing for twisted roots. So we'll bend both knees in, right leg crosses all the way over left. Shift those hips over to the right as the knees move over to the left, towards the floor or a block. Be sure that right shoulder is pinned all the way to the ground. Keep it there. Use a sandbag if you like, or if you have one. Breathing deep. We're not here too long, just enough to feel a nice, gentle little spinal twist. Almost done. Just take a deep inhale here. And exhale. And scooping the belly in. Press the low back into the floor. Squaring everything up. And we'll head into the other side. Hug the knees in, a little extra squeeze if you need between sides. When you're ready, left crosses all the way over right. Hips shift to the left, knees go to the right. Same thing, towards the floor or a block. Keep that left shoulder pinned down with a sandbag if necessary. And soften and melt. Same care and attention as the first side. And taking a deep inhale here. And exhale. And to come out. And to come out. Scoop the belly in. Press the low back into the floor. Unravel and unwind. And hug your knees in and gently rock from side to side, Apanasana. Our final pose today is Ananda Balasana, Happy Baby, clasping onto the outer edges of the feet and drawing the knees down towards the floor. Just a few deep breaths here. And release. One last time, hugging those knees in and gently rocking from side to side. And prepare for Shavasana. Feel free to put back on sweater or socks, whatever you need to feel cozy, and laying back. If your back needs any extra support today, feel free to keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extend the arms and the legs and close the eyes. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. And starting to come back, wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. And bend your knees one at a time. And gently roll over to the right side. Pausing there for just a moment as you come back. And slowly start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, taking all the time you need. And when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today and taking care of you. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a really good rest of your day, and I will see you next time.